Um, my question was, how do you accurately discern urgent versus vital? I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have 5 kids, ages 7 and under.
Oh, what?
And and we're homeschooling this fall because of COVID.
Oh my gosh.
So,
I think
like,
if I were in your situation, vital would be like, how do I make it through through the day? Oh my gosh. 5 under
yeah.
7. You are
Yeah.
superwoman. Wow.
I've had
My
a lot of
hat's
coffee, so sometimes I feel like that, but not all the time.
my hat is off to you. Okay, so what do you mean urgent vital? Give me a help me.
Okay, so like our kids are really isolated because they're not going to school. Like we're just starting to take them to church. Like emotional needs of your kids, and how do I balance that with like, please stop talking to me for a second. I need to concentrate on something. And kids that are getting older and need, like once they, just different needs with older kids
Well, I think you have to do
and
it
like
age
eventually.
appropriately. There's
Mhm.
there's the younger the kids, sometimes when you need that time, don't talk to me, I got stuff to do. That's a physical boundary that you have to set for yourself, right? They've got to be somewhere else.
Mhm.
But I
Mhm.
think that, once they get to the age where they're, kind of sort of somewhat post toddler, they can
Mhm.
understand, what it means to, okay, it's time to, it's quiet time now. It's time to be quiet. Mommy's got something to
Mhm.
do. And you do that, it's kind of basic boundaries with kids. You tell them what you want, and then they don't do it. And then you tell them, okay, if you're going to do that, here's what's going to happen. You're going to be sitting over there by yourself facing the wall or in timeout until the clock goes off or something. But I think
Mhm.
you got to do it in age appropriate ways is kind of the thing. And I think also, given what you've gotten, you probably have to have another set of arms or two in there helping
Mhm. Yeah. That's I have been working to get a sitter, someone who I know is like cautious socially, and
you. Yeah.
so that is in the works right now.
Yeah, I think,
Um,
and I don't know a lot about this because I hadn't been really involved in the homeschooling during COVID thing. I know a lot of people obviously do, but there's probably what I would suggest is that you connect with some of those networks of people that are having to figure this out, and they
mhm.
probably know a lot more, obviously, than I would.
Mhm. Yeah, we're doing it through our school, and so basically, like that part has actually been easy because
Good,
now I have something to occupy them with. So,
good,
um,
good. So
yeah,
does
so
that is that
yeah,
was that your question?
that was part of it.
There's nothing wrong with
How do
telling the
you?
kid, I need,
Yeah.
here, you play with this and be quiet. I got to be on the
Mhm.
phone or I got to do that. There's something wrong with that. They need that. Otherwise, they're going to be driving
Mhm.
other people crazy at 50. They got to learn it sometime. Might as well learn it early.
Yeah, that's good. I think I tend to try to meet all of their needs,
Well,
and that's
good, good.
getting
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
overwhelming.
whoa. Well, hold on. Let's just
Mhm.
redefine some of their needs. They also have the need to
Yeah.
learn how to hear the word no and learn how to obey the word be quiet. That's a need too.
Yeah.
So let's meet that need.
That's a really good perspective shift. Yeah.
It is, right? I mean, kids have
Yeah. Yeah.
needs to learn how to be a person that people are going to want to be around.
Mhm.
That's a big need.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to make them happy every second.
Mhm. How do you
Yeah.
navigate? How do you like with my husband? How how do you balance a schedule? And like, I guess, like, I've heard you talk a lot about, like, talking clearly communicated expectations, or you have a phrase that's similar, but not that.
Mutually agreed
Yeah,
upon expectations.
yeah. How do you, what are some tips for honing in on that? What do you do when you feel like you're stuck and just when it's not working
Well, I
well,
don't know what the
or when
I don't
there's
know what the,
conflict
I don't know
around
what
it?
the I don't know what the it is. Are you an air traffic controller at O'Hare Airport? Are
It feels like it.
are you are you trying to figure it out with your in-laws? What is the it? You said your husband. What
Just,
is the
yeah, just the responsibilities of kids and who gets to leave the house and how often and that kind of thing. Like
I think you sit down and have a conversation, and
mhm,
here here's the amount of time, right, that you and I
mhm,
have. Here are the things that, and this is where prioritization, you mentioned urgent and vital. Let's
mhm,
prioritize this stuff. This is the vital stuff. This is, if we don't do this, somebody's going to get injured, hurt, or developmentally delayed or sick or something. So these things are really
mhm,
important. So let's
mhm,
divide it up so that it's equal and fair, and
mhm,
let's just assign it. And eh, once you begin to do that and get it objectively on paper, it really takes an immature person. If you say to them, wouldn't you, I mean, my hope is you would want this to be fair between the two of us, right?
mhm,
I mean, it
mhm,
really takes an immature person to say, no, I don't want it to be fair. I want you to do all the suffering. Who's going to say that? Nobody's going to say that,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
So if it's going to be fair, then let's get it on paper and say, here's your alone time, here's my alone time, and then we figure it out, and you treat it like a budget. And
mhm,
what I sometimes when I would work with couples, and they get into sort of squabbles like this, because sometimes the more dominant personality ends up kind of eating all the resources, right? And
mhm,
I would have to say, there's two ways to have a relationship. One is love, and one is law. That's
mhm,
pretty much that's what the Bible tells us. You got two options
mhm,
how to live life. One is
mhm,
love, the law of love. And in the absence of love, then we have to go to the law, the legal approach, right?
mhm,
So
mhm,
when two people are operating with the law of love, what they're doing is they're looking at each other and they're saying, "Oh my gosh, honey, you've been at this for 6 hours. Let me take over for you." They're
mhm,
making it equal out of empathy. And so the
mhm,
law of empathy makes things work. You're treating each other like you would want to be treated. But
mhm,
sometimes if that breaks down because somebody's a little self-centered or unaware or selfish even, then sometimes you have to go to the law and you have to keep score. And that's what the law does. It has rules and regulations and we stick by them and there's penalties when you don't. Those are our options.
mhm,
And so I always sit down and try to have a loving conversation about kind of there's enough food here on the table for everybody if one person doesn't eat the whole bowl. So
mhm,
let's figure out how we're going to set these expectations. So I would start there.
mhm, mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
I hear you. You're going, mm-hmm. Because
Mhm. I'm
there's going to be some
mhm.
conflict, right?
Yeah. Like, what do you like? We've kind of been in the conflict, I mean, it's been a while, and things change and shift around, and they have with COVID, and actually making it easier for me because it kind of wiped his schedule like completely clear. And it's like
Put it
I
down.
have him
Look,
home
look,
all the time.
look. Let
Yeah.
let me try this. Put it down on paper. You guys get a schedule.
Mhm.
Try that. I know it
Okay.
sounds cheesy, but try it.
I will. I will.
Okay.
Thank you. It
See
was
if
so
that
great
takes
to talk to you.
You too. And I hope that takes the conflict out of it. And if it doesn't, then what do people do when the law does? Because I'm putting you under the law now, right? Love is kind of
Mhm.
broken down. The empathy thing's broken down. So now we're going to rules. We're going to keep score. And what
Mhm.
happens when there's a conflict? Then you go before the judge. So that's when if you guys make some rules and then it's still a lot of conflict, that's when you need a third party. And in this instance, a judge
Mhm.
is, some kind of counselor or wise friend or pastor or somebody. Okay.
Mhm.
Got to run. Got to talk to some other folks. Thank you for calling me and reminding me um, that some people have amazing capacities. I mean, you actually have 5 kids under 7, and you're like still a nice person. That's so inspiring. My hats off to you.